Catholic Church. That's where we spent our 40 days there before getting the courage to leave. As I hold a Canadian passport, me and my daughter, we were given the advantage of leaving the country and leaving the bombs, but that didn't make us feel better. It only made you feel guilty because you're leaving behind everyone that you care about, that you love, everyone that you've lived with day in, day out with the bombs over your heads. Leaving it wasn't easy, and the road to the south from Gaza City, from where we were, was even worse than anyone could ever imagine. You're dehumanized, you're walking, you have to walk in a certain direction, you can't look back. We were given permission to move, but at the same time, they called upon a friend of mine that had her daughter and her son with her. And they wanted just to make her, I don't know, worry her or... The soldiers that were on the way, on the crossing, they called her and she had to go and stand in front of them for like 10 minutes with her 2 kids. And that's something very, very scary for a 7-year-old. The 7-year-old daughter was always asking whether she was going to die on the way before we could leave Gaza. It's an experience that even if we talk about it to you now, you won't really understand it unless you're actually living it. Maybe it's easy to talk about it, or you can see it on the TV or any channel. But living that experience of walking what's supposed to be a safe corridor is not a safe corridor, because you're walking while bombs are always sounding. You don't actually know where they are. You can just hear them. You can hear bombs. You can hear gunshots, but you don't know where they are. You're just walking and you're not allowed to look. If you're lucky, you pass. And thank God we were lucky to pass. But some people are not lucky. Some people don't have the advantage that I do for having another passport. They can't leave. Who's going to help them? They're still there. It's an experience no one can understand until you really live there and be under the bombs. It's not something you would want or want it for your kids, so why allow it for others? That's it. That's what I have to say.
Okay, we'll go with Farah. Can you switch chairs? So also we're going to be hearing from Khadija also, and Farah is a Palestinian who lives in the West Bank, not in Gaza. Her story is not related to the nowadays war, but it's very connected to it, because a lot of talking about hostages, Israeli hostages, and Palestinian prisoners, while we are talking about the deal that will be or been achieved, as we hear the news this morning. Her story is about kidnapping a dead body for over 3 years for her brother. He is a hostage too. So Farah Harikat, Farah, her name is spelling like F-A-R-A-H, Harikat, E-R-A-K.
E-R-E-K-A-T.
So Farah, and also because you ask always, Muslim Christian, a Muslim Palestinian, sorry.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope really our voice reach all the word clearly without changing any word and using the right word that we need to use in the news. I used to be a journalist, but I left journalism because of the lack of honest on the journalism. On 23rd of June 2020, it was my sister's wedding day. I was in the barber shop doing my hair, getting ready for the wedding, and I just heard in the news there is a young Palestinian man have been killed at the checkpoint for no reason. And without knowing that this man is my brother and my sister's wedding day, I was sad, and I closed the news, and I started praying for him without knowing he is my brother, you know? When I finish everything and I want to go to home, I just see a lot of people was standing in our home door and said that Ahmed have been shot by Israeli force at the checkpoint in Bethlehem between Jerusalem and Bethlehem. Jerusalem is the Holy Land and Bethlehem is the peace land, Jesus land. So imagine this is two places are packed to Palestinian government, and this checkpoint are put there without no reason, just to let us live a bad life as a Palestinian. Okay, my brother was 26 years old, he was engaged, and he was want to get married after 2 months. Here's his picture. His name is Ahmed. He is my best friend and my twin. We born in the same day, but he is older than me in 1 year. We used to go to school together, play together, do everything together. And till now, if I told you, I didn't believe that Ahmed passed away because I didn't see him. I didn't say the last goodbye for him. Imagine that Israel punish a dead body for no reason and punish his family. My mother told me to tell you today that she is waiting him to come back in a walk. She didn't imagine that he is not here anymore. Another thing in my story, I lost my sister from the sadness after 1 year. She was suffering in a cancer with no reason, just because she was very sad. She got a cancer and she died in 3 months. She was 33 years old. She was studying her PhD in Poland. And that's how Israel killed our dreams, our lives, and everything. In West Bank, where's Hamas in West Bank? You said that Hamas in Gaza, we are bombing Gaza. They are killing Palestinians in West Bank every day. And there is no one look. Since the 11th of October until today, they killed 176 Palestinian youth and young without no reason, just because we are Palestinian. We are live under occupation since 75 years old, 75 years. And the world just looking for us. They start saying that Palestinian killed, okay, they forget the second day. And if Palestinian come to define himself or his family, he is a terrorist. But this is our land. Come on. Israel have the right to define themselves in the space of their violence. We are the one who violenced by Israel.
Got violated.
Got violated by Israel. It's our land. Okay? And not only my brother Ahmed, another 365 Palestinian dead body are jailed by Israel. But Ahmed, exactly because he jailed in the fridge for 3 years, in the fridge of Tel Aviv University. And I don't know how the world still used to work with this university and since the student there. I just want to show you this, my brother Ahmed and my mother in Al-Aqsa Mosque. We were so happy to be there together. And this is a picture for us. We used to do a stand for asking to bring our dead body, our brother dead body back every week in the West Bank. And I know some of you heard this story about Ahmed Erikat, because he was killed in his sister's wedding day. Please, I need my brother dead body back as soon as possible, because we cannot live with this pain again and again with Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Farah. I know it's an open wound. It will never heal until you bury your brother, as many of other martyrs. Hundreds. There is a graveyard, the graveyard, as they say in Israel, the number graveyards. Many of martyrs been kidnapped after they shoot them, the Israeli soldiers, after they kill them. They kidnap the body. I never give it back to the family. And in some cases, when they deliver the body to the family, they put certain condition for burying him. After midnight, no funeral, and in the same day. It's a very hard and inhuman condition for any mourning family. So let's continue with story about the war of Gaza. And again, this story, it's not disconnected to the situation we are living now in Gaza. It's connected because bodies are being hostages in fridges or in a graveyard. They call it the numbers graveyard in Israel. So I will give the floor now to Khadija. Khadija, will you please say your full name and spelling it? Khadija lives also in Belgium. She has relatives in Gaza, and she lost her also loved one and family. Please, Khadija, go ahead.
My name is Khadija Darabe, KHADEGADARABIEH. KHADEGADARABIEH. I'm from Gaza. I came to Belgium since 9 months. I want to talk about life in Gaza during this war. I lost a lot of my cousins and friends, and my family lost all their houses and live in tents now. My cousin, Dr. Saed Darabey, he is a doctor. They killed him when he was in his work with no reason, just the only reason he is a Palestinian man. He have one baby. He was in Egypt and came to Gaza since just 2 years and married, and he have one baby. And my friend died with her whole family, and they can't get them out of the rubble because they were in abysses, their body in abysses. They are not numbers. Everyone have a dream. Everyone have a story, and they was like the life. My husband's family injured in the war, and they can't go to hospital because the Israeli occupation forces bombed hospitals and ambulances, and the whole health system has collapsed. Secondly, I can't communicate with my family because there is no electricity, no internet, and all telecommunications in Gaza is collapsed. And when I can't talk with them, they ask me if there is a ceasefire or not because they don't know anything around them. Since 2 days, the Israeli occupation committed a massacre in Jabalia camp near my family's house, and I don't know anything about them. There is no food, there is no water. My sister have a baby, she can't feed her baby. And finally, I'm a pregnant woman. I will birth soon, and I know that my child will live a happy life in Belgium. But what will be the fate of the body who will be born in Gaza? Like this child, he is a newborn baby. I hope that the difficult period lived doesn't affect my baby, because my friend was pregnant here in Belgium and she lost her baby because she was very sad about her family. When I met Holiness Pope and said to him the story about the babies in Gaza, he cried and said to me, I will pray to children in Gaza, and he prayed for my baby to come with a good health. I asked all the world, I asked you to stop this genocide in Gaza. Thank you.
Khadija, you didn't mention how many of your relatives got killed in this war.
9, 2 babies of them. 9 persons and 2 babies.
And we must mention the number of the Palestinian who was killed, the total in Gaza now. The number is more than 11,000 Palestinians have been killed less than 40 days, 5,000 of them is children under 6 years old. And this number should be mentioned.
Even much more, because
Even much more.
much
And
more
women
now.
and
The numbers.
kids. Yeah.
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 So I would open the floor now for journalists to ask questions if you want, and others can participate also with their stories later. But please, Jihad, will you pass who will be asking? Please introduce yourself and the agency or the channel that you are working with, please. Let's start from here.
Hello, thank you very much. I am Lou Bémont from French newspaper La Croix. Can you remember...
Can you make it far away a little bit?
The microphone. Can you remember exactly what was the sentence the Pope said when he talked about genocide? The exact words he employed? And can you tell us how many people you were in the delegation and how long how long was the appointment with him? Thank you.
Okay. Yusuf?
Thank you for your question. In fact, we were 10 people meeting with His Holiness, and in the first 10 minutes of a meeting of 20 minutes, he spoke to us about what he already know about Gaza, and he's the one who described what's happening as a genocide. So His Holiness understands and recognizes what's happening in Gaza as a genocide, and he said that, just to be very precise here, that he said that terror cannot justify terror, or should not justify terror. So these are his words.
So he didn't use the word genocide.
He used.
He did use.
He used.
To use a genocide.
Yes, and
With his
yes, it
Shireen.
started. Yes, it started first when it was an announcement that terrorism should not be paid back by terrorism. He shared his sympathy, which we do also acknowledge that, with the people who are hostages, the Israeli children and people who are hostages in Gaza. He said nobody should bear such a thing and the hostages should be back. It has been mentioned. When we shared the stories of the families killed, he mentioned that I see the genocide. So basically he did not only say the aching, but he announced that this is what's happening with many children. The fact that we said over 5,000 children were killed is genocide. This is how it's stated.
We need to excuse me. You were saying that he said specifically, I see the genocide. Is that what you heard?
Yes, it was stated. I mean, we were we were very clear that we want to see, because we did not have expectations. It's not easy to come and visit the Pope, His Holiness, without not knowing what is really said and what is not said. But it was very clear. The word genocide did not come from us. It came from His Holiness Pope Francis. Thank you.
Can you please? Yeah. Will you please introduce yourself and the organization you work with?
Io non sono un giornalista, sono un palestinese da Gerusalemme, però dico solo per aggiustare, per dire. e per il numero dei martiri che sono stati a Gaza fino all'altro ieri, fino a lunedì, è 13.300 persone. Così dice il Ministero della Sanità di Gaza, di cui sono 5.600 bambini. 5.600 bambini e 3.550 donne. Questo fino all'altro ieri. Da lunedì a oggi chissà quando sono diventati. Speriamo che potete aiutarci a mettere fine a questo genocidio, come ha detto lei, perché noi vogliamo la pace, però vogliamo la pace giusta. Vogliamo la pace che merita la Terra Santa. Grazie. No, no. Muhammad. Suleiman.
Well, let me just tell you the updated number, which is, unfortunately, we had to talk about numbers and how is the update, as it is like a uprising issue. We are now reaching the number of 1,128 martyrs who got killed in Gaza, including 5,840 children and 3,920 women, approximately 33,000 were injured, the majority of whom were children and women. This is the new updates. And just worth to mention also that as a Palestinians, we have over 5,400 prisoners, Palestinian prisoners, in the Israeli jails. But after 7 of October, they arrested 2,000 in just 40 days. So the total number of the Palestinian prisoners in the Israeli jails now is over 7,400, and it's an ongoing process, unfortunately. Some of them, they don't have even been judged or don't have detained or clear crime or something to be described of the why they've been captive, and some of them been held for updated like every 6 months. They renew their prison under what they call administrative prison status, detention, sorry. So someone else who want to ask another question? Yeah, 20 minutes with His Holiness. And we had also accompanying with a delegation who met with Pope Francis, 2 fathers. One father from the Greek Orthodox Church. His name is Siman, but he unfortunately couldn't be with us today. I mean now for the press conference, and also a Catholic father from the Romanelli, Father Romanelli, from Gaza.
Qual è la richiesta che loro hanno fatto al Santo Padre?
Yusuf. ايش السؤال؟ Okay, Muhammad, please.
We believe that His Holiness has a great power in the world, and he can ask for an immediate ceasefire, but this is not what the only thing that we ask for. We ask him to use his power for more just and long-lasting peace. We ask him as well to come personally and visit Gaza in order to put an end to this genocide, because we believe his presence will bring comfort and peace to the region.
Worth to mention that also the delegation deliver a written letter from them with a very clear demands and clear description about the situation in Gaza, and handed to His Holiness in the end of the meeting.
His Holiness found that idea of visiting Gaza is a good idea. He said that it is a good idea, and he promised to discuss this with the diplomats when the situation allows for it.
Yes, ma'am. Italiano, Jihad.
Sono terroristi. Un giudizio su Hamas.
Again.
Se sono terroristi.
ايش رايكم؟
ايش الستيتمنت الرسمي للجروب عن حماس؟
الجروب محمد ولا شيرين؟
حركة التحرير.
نو.
I don't think we are here to speak about Hamas. We are an oppressed people who have been living in oppression under occupation for more than 75 years, and we are the people who are under this oppression for these decades. I don't think it is even polite to ask the victims to talk about the people, the same people. Thank you.
Well, what's your name and from which? Okay, thank you so much. Please, can you pass the microphone, please, Jihad? Oh. Please introduce yourself, please. Oh.
Yes, whoever wants to respond, I would like to follow up on Franca's question because I think it is relevant.
What's your name, please? Introduce yourself. I'm
sorry. Phil Pulella from Reuters. I think the question is relevant because what she wants to know. Because before someone said that he said terror begets terror or something like that, right? I can't remember the exact quote that you said, one of you said, the Pope said. The question is, did he specifically say that what Hamas did on October 7th, I believe, whatever it is, was terrorism? I think that's a pretty easy answer, yes or no answer. There's no reason to skirt it.
I don't think we should have skirted. I answered you when you said about the genocide. I said he said so. He also condemned. And we have nothing against that. He condemned what Hamas did for the people of Israel. It was very blunt and straightforward. And he said it. It's not a negotiable one. We answer straightforward. And he also said what is happening to Palestinians is also terrorism. And actually, if you can go to the Vatican's news, you can find the article that was written, and it was actually information that was written about His Holiness Pope Francis, where he stated, I can try to quote some of it, or you can go. Okay, thank you.
I'd like to follow up, but you're saying that you invited the Pope to visit Gaza.
Yes.
And he said he will discuss it with his diplomats. But when the Pope went to the Holy Land the last time, he arrived in Palestine via Jordan instead of the previous popes who arrived in the occupied Israel. How do you think it is absolutely in any way feasible for the Pope to visit a place like Gaza, which has always been under Israeli control? I mean, do you think the Israelis are going to give a green light to a visit by the Pope to Gaza?
So, please, I will give the floor to Yusuf because he wants to explain that maybe wider for you to understand. Please, Yusuf, come in my chair.
What we have asked His Holiness and urge him to visit Gaza. We are not diplomats ourselves. We don't know the right routes and networks that need to be connected and arranged for him to visit Gaza. But I don't think that His Holiness need a white or a green light from anyone to stop a war crime that's taking place in Gaza. If he chooses to go from Egypt or from any other place, it's his choice, and he can figure out the best way. What we really care about is for him to stop the genocide and the war crimes and the crimes against humanity that's taking place in Gaza.
I think the families made it clear that the demands justifies the situation that their families live in, because it's not about how he could reach there, it's the willing to go in the beginning and the willing to act to end this genocide from His Holiness in the first place. Secondly, when he visited Palestine in 2014, as I remember, it was to Bethlehem and Jerusalem, and under the international law, sir, and Jerusalem is occupied city, and it should not be under the Israeli control. For us, in our mentality, he visited only Palestine in 2014, because Jerusalem, as we refer always to the international law, is an occupied city. So if there is no other further questions, we could thank you. Oh, okay, please. Please introduce yourself, sir.
I'll be very quick.
Last question here.
Yes. Gaia Pellegrini Betoli. I'm an independent journalist, and I lived for 1 year in Gaza and the first week of Operation Protective Edge in 2014. My condolences to all of you who've lost someone. I'll be very brief. My question to you all is, there's a lot of talk about this is a second Nakba. Do you have any hope that after all this humanitarian tragedy, that something positive may come out of it? Or where do you see the future beyond the horrible bombings and destruction? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I may say a sentence, and then I will refer to you, colleagues. Well, if you've been there, then you know the Palestinians. We never lose hope. We are fighters for freedom, and we are seeking that as any other human beings in the world, and we are craving for peace. So we hope people around the world, nations and leaders, will take actions toward that and to be heard as a Palestinians, especially as these families came here to tell you that we need that. We need justice. We need that freedom. We need the just peace, as it's been mentioned a lot. So I will give the floor to Muhammad, Khadija, or who want to say, maybe Shireen? Shireen?
Unfortunately, what's happening in Palestine, especially in Gaza, is not hopeful at all. Most people do not see, if not all people, they do not see the light at the end of the tunnel. To all the Palestinians, especially the people of Gaza, they see it is a catastrophe, and it is like 1948 and 1967. There is no difference, really. Now, what comes out of it is to us is the problem. What has been announced just recently, that they will stop the bombarding for a few hours from 8 to 4. To some people, it's a good news, but to us, it's actually a delay of killing, because after these 4 days, it's going to continue to happen again. And that's also a dilemma for the Palestinians, especially the people of Gaza. We're really hoping and praying, and that's why we want our voices to be heard, because we don't want to only be numbers. Each Palestinian who lost a family or a member has a story, and there has to be a way to act towards what is happening. I mean, even if we say ceasefire, I mean, excuse me if I'm saying it so bluntly, even if we say ceasefire, and we do want ceasefire, but then what's next? What happened to all these people who were killed? what happened to all these children that were killed? Shall we just say, oh, let's clap the hands and say, oh, let's go for peace? I think there should be justice. And this is what we're really hoping to achieve. We don't know how yet, but we have to say it, and to say it bluntly, because we cannot just hide behind peace, and we know that peace is not even near. Thank you.
Just last comment on that, because as Shireen said, it's very unhopeful. We have heard people who managed to move from the north to the south, that they are being told at the checkpoint that there is no hope for them to come back to their places. So there is a decision that has been taken by the Israelis that they will not allow anyone to move who has moved from north to the south to come back. And now when the north is being attacked and bombarded, and when they feel that they are finished with that part of the Gaza Strip, will that be the end? I don't think so. What I think is that they will continue to also the south of Gaza Strip and make it impossible to live there. What has been done is not only killing people, but a massive destruction of infrastructure. Hospitals, schools, public places. They really wanted this place impossible to be a place for someone to live. As I quote here the words of the Israeli defense minister, who said that the priority is for destruction, not accuracy.
Okay, thank you. What? Can you speak in English, please? Yeah, you are speaking in Italian, and no one here can understand Italian.
We just had a confirmation from the OEC, the press office, and they just say that the Pope didn't use the word genocide. He did. Wow. He did.
Okay. Well, that's, I don't know what to say, but if you ask all the 10 people that were there and heard the same word, then something is wrong here.
Okay. So you say,
10 people heard it. Yes, definitely. Yes. We were all there, we heard it, and I think no one has a hearing problem.
You know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting here. You know, that the Palestinian voice is always questioned. No. It's my question. Yes, but yes, it's your job to verify, but it's also your job to cover what's happening in Gaza and what the United Nations says, and what everyone also describes. When 13,000 Palestinian civilians are being killed, that's not just a passing incident in the world history. This is a genocide when a systematic assault and aggression is taking place against the people. So,
we all have colleagues here who are...
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for what you just shared. Let me just conclude with that, and then you can take it from here. Now, if it has been confirmed that His Holiness Pope Francis did not use the word genocide, and we were there, 10 of us were there, and we heard it, but I want you to understand one important thing. There is always a definition behind the word, okay? And if our definition with the genocide is different than the Pope's definition of the genocide, then we understand and then we agree. But as the idiom, like the definition word genocide, yes, it was used, and we have 10 people here that confirm it, but I'm saying it again, that does not mean my definition is exactly the same definition as maybe His Holiness Pope Francis was trying to make it clear. To us, it was clear that it was an act of terrorism in both sides. He said it clearly. and he said he's mourning for both sides. We do not ignore that statement, and I say it again. So let's hope that we can get a clear statement from the press office, and we'll take it from there. It's not here. We're not here to try to twist information. Please, we're here. We're trying to convey a story, a message, something that is happening to our families in Gaza, and I urge you to respect that because it's so important. Thank you so much.
It's hard that Palestinians always need to prove what they hear or what they say. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
كان المفروض سجلنا له صوت للبابا.
Can you make an interview?